Jaya Jaya Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Veda Chandra Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Veda Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Veda Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we have text 43 on the board. I will first read 38 and previous verses. Yeah. Bhagavana Verat Bhakta Yat Bhagavana Vera Bhakta Jata Shiva Sapradana Tam Sabara Pada Padme Sasra Pranama. There are innumerable devotees of the Lord, of whom Shiva's Thakur is the foremost. I offer my respectful obeisances thousands of times unto their lotus feet. Shiva's Thakur, Narada Muni. Text 39. Advaita Chaya Prabhura Amsa Avatara Tanra Pade Padme Kote Panati Amara. Advaita Charya is the Lord's partial incarnation, and therefore I offer my obeisances millions of times at his lotus feet. 40. Advaita. No. Nityananda Raya Prabhulasvarupa Prakasam Tanrapada Padma Bandhu Yanra Munidasa. Srila Nityananda Ram is the plenary manifestation of the Lord, and I've been initiated by him. I therefore offer my respectful obeisance unto his lotus feet. Nityananda. And now, Radhadesh. 41. Shadadara Panditati Prabhuraniya Sakti Tansabara Sharane Mora Sasra Pranati. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the internal potencies of the Lord, of whom Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu is the foremost. 42. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Swayam Bhagavan Dhanarapa Dharavinde Ananta Pranam. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the personality of Godhead himself, and therefore I offer innumerable prostrations at his lotus feet. And now 43 we can repeat together. Sabarani Prabhu Kariya Namaskara. Echayatenya Yache Karya Vichara. Savarane Prabhu Kariya Namaskara. Echayatenya Yache Karya Vichara. Savarane Prabhu Kariya Namaskara. Echaya Tenoyache Karya Vichara. Savarane Prabhu Kariya Namaskara. Savarane Prabhu Kariya Namaskara. Echaya Tenoyache Karya Vichara. What for translation? Savarane, along with his associates, Prabhu, until Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Karya, having made Namaskar, respectful obeisances, these, Chaya, 6, Tenno, he, Yache, what they are like, Karaye, I make Vichar, Discussion. Translation and purport by Abhaichara Vinna Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Having offered obeisance unto the Lord and all his associates, I shall now try to explain these 6 diversities in one purport. There are many unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of whom are considered associates surrounding the Lord. Krishna should be worshipped with his devotees. The diverse principles are therefore the eternal paraphernalia through which the absolute truth can be approached. Om Ajnanat Mandasya Jananjana Shanka Shakshun Miritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chaitanyamanopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Shvam Bhagadamayam Dadati Swapanantikam Vandeham Shiyo Shiyuda Padakamanam Shiyo Vaishnavam Shah Shirubam Sarajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasaitam Sri Krishna Stanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saganita Shivishakam Vitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jyatpati Gopesha Gopka Kanta Ganda Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavanashre Vishabhana Sukadevi Pranamama Prepriye Vanka Kapriyobhasha Kripa Sudvevasha Patinam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivam Santi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhakti Bhaktivedanta Swami Namo Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Bhaskachaya Desota Srila Prabhupada. So, the Lord should be worshipped together with his devotees. We have here Srila Krishna Kaviraj Goswami. He first goes over the entire Panchatattva and then is going to describe other topics in this chapter. Because without empowerment of the devotees, not much we can do. That our principle is we cannot serve the Lord directly. That we just assist the spiritual master. That's the principle. That so before worshipping Lord Krishna, we worship the spiritual master. All pujaris know that have special puja for their spiritual master before they start the worship. And even if we offer articles in puja, first we ask permission of our spiritual master, then Srila Prabhupada, and then Lord Nityananda, and then we start the puja. That's the principle. That, but Krishna said, it's in the Bhagavatam that Durvasa Muni had offended Ambarish Maharaj and is followed by the chakra of Krishna all over the universe is flooding all over the universe, and nobody gives him shelter. Finally comes in Vaikuntha, and Lord Narayan tells him, worship of my devotee is better than worshipping me. That's the principle that is from that's mentioned in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, but also in the Padma Purana. The best mode of worship is to offer oblations to Vishnu, but better than that is to worship the devotees of Krishna. Kintu Prabhoya Priyaya Vatasya. Yeah, as good as Krishna. But yeah, so we should always worship the devotees because they have spiritual qualities. That was the problem with Prajapati Daksha. He saw Lord Shiva as his son-in-law. That he didn't see the spiritual qualities of Lord Shiva. And he started to criticize him. He was so proud. He spoke before the entire assembly of demigods. He said, what I'm now going to say is not out of envy, he said. I'm not going to speak out of envy. When we came out that part of the Bhagavatam, this is 15 years ago, or longer, but Bhujan Prabhu said, yeah, it's like someone is at home and the wife and the man are in the sleeping room upstairs, and downstairs there is noise. Someone is breaking in. And the wife pushes the husband, you go see. And the husband, with all his courage, goes to the beginning of the stairs, and in the dark, he's shouting, is there someone down there? And it's silent for a moment. And then from downstairs, there comes a voice. And the voice says, I'm not stealing anything. He's breaking in to steal, but he says, I'm not stealing anything. And Lord Shiva, and anyway, he said, Prajapati Daksha said to all the demigods that, yes, I was forced by Brahma to give my daughter, my beautiful daughter, with beautiful eyes, my daughter Gayatri, to Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva is always dirty. He lives on a crematorium ground. He pushes all the ashes on his body. He has eyes like a monkey. I started to criticize him. What was the result? Finally, he was killed by this great demon. And they gave him a head of a goat. And then he started to realize the offense he made and started to do austerities. But then, when he left that body with a goat head, he was forced to take birth again. That as the son of the Prachetas. Prachetas are descendants of Dhruva Maharaj. But the Prachetas, they are also worshippers of Lord Shiva. Not really, but they accepted Shiva as their spiritual master. Because Shiva appeared before them and gave them instructions, spiritual instructions, how to make spiritual advancement in Krishna consciousness. So they accepted Lord Shiva in his rightful position as a spiritual master. But then they got a son, Daksha. Daksha was again born that by the mercy of the disciple of Lord Shiva. That's interesting, that connection. But yes, that disrespecting devotees is very dangerous. Lord Krishna, this is from Krishna book, he was visiting Shutadev. He was visiting Shutadev and King Balulasma, two devotees. That's in Krishna book. And Krishna says to Shutadev, my dear Shutadev, you may therefore accept all these great saintly persons, the Brahmins and sages, as my bona fide representatives. By worshipping them faithfully, you will be worshipping me more diligently. I consider worship of my devotees to be better than direct worship of me. If someone attempts to worship me directly without worshipping my devotees, I do not accept such worship. And, even though it may be presented with great opulence. Yes. So, I'm thinking about Utsaya Nishya Daryat Tat Karma Pravartanat. Tat Karma Pravartan is various activities favorable for devotional service. Nectar of devotion, 64 items of devotional service. Is one item, is worship of my devotees. That's there. Yeah. Also to Uddhav, Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadika. Srila Prabhupada quotes that many times. Mad Bhakta Puja Vyasika. O sinless Uddhav, one can achieve loving service unto me by performing first-class worship of my devotees. That's the way to get loving service unto Krishna. Krishna explains that also a little later in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, where he speaks about the special flavor of of Vraja Bhakti. And then he explains how to get this Vraja Bhakti. He said it's not by austerities, it's not by jnana, it's not by charity, that by these things it's not possible. You can only get it by association with my pure devotees. That's how to get Vraja Bhakti. Find a pure devotee who has Vraja Bhakti. This is from the Padma Purana. One who performs worship of Lord Govinda but fails to worship his devotees should be understood to be not a devotee of the Lord, but simply a victim of false praise. So you can present yourself as a devotee of Krishna, but if you are not worshipping Krishna as a devotee, Krishna says you are not a devotee. Right? clear. The Mundaka Upanishad, right? By worshipping the devotees of the Lord, all one's desires will be fulfilled. That. And then this is from Madhvacharya, commenting on the Vedanta Sutra. Worship of the devotees of the Lord, worship the devotees of the Lord and hear from the devotees of the Lord, for they will protect you. That's interesting. They will protect you. That Bhishmadev said, and similar thing to Yudhishthira Maharaj, he said, when he was on the bed of arrows, he said, yes, as long as you follow, as long as you worship and follow the instructions of the Brahmins, then you are acting according to the religious principles, and you will always be protected by these religious principles. It's the same principle. Of course, one may ask what are the deeper reasons. How is that going to happen if I worship the devotees, especially my spiritual master? How is that going to happen, that this change of heart? Svetasvatara Upanishad, Prabhupada quoted this verse so many times. Yasya deva para bhaktirya deve tata karanta sheta katitayartha prakashayanti mahatmana. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of the Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. So here is a very important point. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tesham satayuktanam bhajtampi debokam dadami buddhyantam yena mam upayanti te. If you worship me with a little love, then Krishna says, dadami, I will give you this buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga, which is, buddhi yoga means realize transcendental knowledge to the heart. So really our change of heart is caused by the Lord himself, only when we please the spiritual master. Why is that? Because Priti Purvakam, we don't have even this little love for Krishna. It's like anartha nivritti. You are purifying the heart, but because you are affected by these anarthas, you make offenses, and it's like a vicious circle. You don't get out of it. How to get out of it? The reality is, if Krishna sees that you worship the spiritual master and try sincerely to follow his instructions, Krishna accepts this as a little love, Priti Purvaka. That's the way. So that's a very important principle in spiritual life. And that, so therefore, in the Itihasa Samuchaya, it said, in order to attain the mercy of Lord Vishnu, one should satisfy the Vaishnavas. There is no doubt that by their mercy, Vishnu will be pleased. That confirms it. Of course, we know that Madhavendra Puri had different disciples, and especially I mentioned two, Ramachandra Puri and Ishvara Puri. Ishvara Puri, he became the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. But when Madhavendra Puri was going to pass away, then at the end he was lamenting I tried so hard and I could not attain love for Krishna. He was lamenting. Ramachandra Puri, who had been associating with impersonalists, said, "Why are you lamenting? You should now be absorbed in the bliss of Brahman." He was criticizing his spiritual master. And Ramachandra, and Madhavendra Puri said, "Get out of here. If I see your face when I leave my body, I will not attain my goal." So what was the result for Ramachandra Puri? He became a dry mental speculator. He was criticizing devotees. He was criticizing even Lord Chaitanya. He came to see Lord Chaitanya, and there were ants on the ground. And he said, "You must have been eating sweets. Eating too much sweets is not good for sannyasi. That spoils his vows." And the proof is here. There are ants. There was sugar here. And you have been invited in so many places. I see you are eating too much. But Lord Chaitanya was very humble, and he cut his eating in half, and all the devotees became unhappy that they all cursed Ramachandra Puri. Even his godbrother, Brahmananda Puri, came and said, "You don't, we know Ramachandra Puri, you don't have to follow what he says." But Lord Chaitanya followed. But then when Ramachandra Puri went away, Lord Chaitanya went back to his normal activities. But then Ishvara Puri was serving Madhavendra Puri at the end of his life. He was serving with great love, cleansing him, taking care of his body, and helping him to remember Krishna at the time of death. And Madhavendra Puri blessed Ishvara Puri, and Ishvara Puri got pure love of God. And came the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. Of course, Lord Chaitanya does not need a spiritual master, but he comes in his incarnation as Bhakta Rupa to show how to act as a devotee in Kali Yuga. So yes, we must go to the devotees, to the spiritual master and the devotees to get the mercy of the Lord. That Radhadesh because Van was from a very wealthy family, and he wanted, but he was from childhood already spiritually inclined, and his parents tried to bind him and gave him a very beautiful, faithful wife and so on. But even during the marriage, he was not interested. And after that, especially after he met Lord Chaitanya, he wanted always to be with Lord Chaitanya, and he was running away. But the guards organized by his father, who was very wealthy. They were landowners, Samindos, I think, very wealthy. But Lord Chaitanya had told Raghunadas, you stay at home till you are a little older, and then. But every time he tried to escape, but they got him every time. So he could not. But one day, Lord Nityananda was nearby, and he knew, and he escaped to go to Lord Nityananda. And he begged for the mercy of Lord Nityananda. But Lord Nityananda said, Raghunath Das Goswami said, you are a thief. That you want the mercy of Lord Chaitanya without the mercy of the spiritual master of the devotees. They called him a thief in that sense. And Raghunath Das Goswami said, what can I do to repay my debts? And Lord Nityananda said, organize a festival of all the devotees with shipped rice and yogurt. And that's the Panihati festival now. It was a great, great festival. And at the end, Lord Nityananda put his feet on his head. And after that, a few weeks later, he escaped and he was successful. And he went to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Chaitanya. And then he became the famous Raghunath Das Goswami. He was so renounced, Raghunath Das Goswami, that he got the special mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So this is the principle of worshipping the Lord together with his devotees. And that a very important principle, which is followed here by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself. He was a disciple of Nityananda, and he glorifies. There's a whole chapter in the Adi Lila, where he glorifies Lord Nityananda. How he's not different from Balaram. Good. Any questions, comments? Yes.
You are speaking that the principle to serve Krishna is to serve his devotees. And what is the principle? How to serve devotees? Because we consider that we should serve not only to spiritual master but also devotees around us, right?
Yeah.
So how to serve them properly? Like, because I give an example, a devotee may ask me, Prabhu, I would like to have this 3 chocolate rolls from the bakery to the pizza. And so, yeah, we can if you come to this level that you just want to something for his gratification or something for false ego like that. So where is the limit or balance or how to prepare this serve that he would
how to relate with devotees is explained in Nectar of Instruction. Begins with Vatsya Vegam, Skroda Vegam, Shiva Vegam, Darbasta Vegam. That's one who is advanced in devotion service. He controls his senses, his mind, intelligence, words, and he's a spiritual master. Can make disciples all over the world. And then it gives 6 items not to do and 6 items to do. And it is, Utsyanisya Daya Tatat Kama Kvartan Sangatyaga Tovite Satya Bhaktir Pashidati. 6 items to do: being enthusiastic, That's have patience, determination, and that and follow quickly the rules, all the practices of the devotional service, following the footsteps of the of great acharyas, and then there are 6 things not to do. Dat Atyara Payasasya Prajalpaniyamagam Sangotyara Jnana Sangrasa Dolyamsa Sadbir Bhaktir Vinashati. 6 things not to do. Why is that so important? Not atyahara, not in depth, not taking more than needed, and not endeavoring for things that are difficult to obtain, that no prajalpa, don't speak about mundane things. So this knowledge is important. If you don't act according to these principles, you cannot properly associate with devotees. In the next verse, it's explained 6 loving exchanges with the Tadati Panihita and with Srinati, 6 loving exchanges with devotees. So giving gifts, receiving gifts, offering prasadam, receiving prasadam, revealing one's mind in confidence, and hearing another devotee, revealing one's mind in confidence. So that's the activities, how we associate with each other. But that is according to the level of advancement of devotees. In the next verse, it's mentioned that one should give respect unto the neophyte who says even once Hare Krishna. One should offer respect and obeisance to initiated devotees, and one should serve this devotee faithfully who is pure and always chants the holy names of Krishna. Now, in the beginning of that purport, Srila Prabhupada replies to your question. He says, in order to properly apply the principles explained in previous verses about associating with devotees, one must know who is advanced, who is not advanced. That's the first thing you have to know, probably. That otherwise you make offenses. That you cannot reveal your mind to a neophyte devotee. You do that to an equal of one who is more advanced. And in that purpose, Srila Prabhupada explains about 3 levels of devotees. Prakriti Bhakti, the one who sees the beginner, the neophyte, who accepts the deity as Krishna, but he does not give respect to the devotees, not proper respect. And that's the beginner. We must learn the value of devotees. Better to afraid to make offenses. And the Madhyama Vikar is the one who sees 4 things. He sees Krishna and tries to develop love for Krishna. And he sees, he knows who are the devotees and cultivates friendship with devotees. And then you have the third one is the innocent. He preaches to them and he avoids those who are offensive, who are against devotional service. Then you have the highest devotee. The highest devotee, he sees everything. Everyone has a better devotee than himself. And he sees only Krishna. So this is something we need to learn to properly associate with devotees. And in such a learning curve, that's my experience, you make errors, and Krishna gives you the consequences, and you learn. Your life becomes a learning platform, and but once you come, you become more pure-hearted in your relationships with devotees. It becomes very sweet, a sweetness which is not defined in this material world. It's very special, especially associating with advanced devotees. So that's a bit the context in which you can find yourself the answer in your question. I hope that helps. Something else? Good. Thank you very much. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.